Hi, I'm Bob, and today I'm going to show you how to custom make a travel-ready tow-saving blanket support. This handy collapsible frame supports heavy blankets and comforters and keeps them from interrupting your sleep with toe and leg cramps. Sure, you can buy one on Amazon, but they're probably expensive, might not fit your mattress, and probably cannot be easily disassembled to fit into your carry-on suitcase when traveling. I'll begin by showing you my first overbuilt attempt and explain why I modified it to make it more compact and portable. Then I'll give you an overview of how to assemble it. At the end of this YouTube video, I'll provide you a parts list and a schematic. You can even freeze the video and take notes if you like. Here's what the old blanket lifter looked like. As you can see, it seems to lift the blankets up pretty high, and you wonder if it's going to keep your feet warm while you're underneath it. But that's not a problem, really. It does make the comforter or blanket, in this case, a little bit shorter, so if you like it to come up over your head, it isn't going to do that. So the idea was to make it a little bit more compact and also to make it so that it would fit in a suitcase so you can take it with you. So here's the original one uncovered. You can see that it has a stabilizer on top of the on top of the mattress, and then it's got one that goes between the mattress and the box spring. But that's overkill. So remember, we want to make this thing small enough so you can put it in your suitcase. And I'm going to show you what the new one looks like. Now here's the new one. You notice that it's a lot more compact. It doesn't have the extra support going across here and here in the middle. And it's a whole lot fewer pieces. Now, my wife just said she doesn't think this thing looks very collapsible, but believe me, it is collapsible. As you can see, I've put it inside this, well, I guess a medium-sized suitcase. And I don't know what TSA is going to say when they x-ray it. Haven't tried that yet, but we'll see what happens next time we take a trip. All right, so here's the new one installed. And you can see the blanket comes down a little bit more. And that's because I made the risers about 2 inches shorter. And I made this horizontal piece up here about 1 inch or 2 shorter also. And for every inch that you take off the height, you add 2 inches because the blanket has to go up and then come back down again. So I took off probably a total of 3 inches and gained about 6 inches of blanket space down below here. So now I can actually pull it up higher and pull it up to and over my head if I wanted. Notice here that I've got these 2 wooden blocks that I cut at a 45-degree angle to make a little trough. It helps me get these elbows aligned all in the same plane. First thing I did was I assembled what you're looking at and put the 2 elbows, one on the left, one on the right. And the next thing I did was I put a threaded elbow on the shaft to the right, and then I lined it up the base of it with the workbench, and then I put another threaded elbow on the shaft to the left, and I slipped it in and aligned that up so that it lay flat on the bench. And theoretically, that will help everything stay aligned. After making this U, what I did was use the holders to make the next piece. And I'll show you what that is. I used these 2 holders, wooden blocks. And this next piece is you put the adapter with the thread on one end, and then on the other end you put a threaded elbow And the thread is the thing that doesn't have anything in it yet. And of course, what's on the pipe right now glued to it is the female regular end. Okay, so now we've got these two longer pieces with the threaded fitting on one end and a threaded elbow on the other. And we've also got the U piece shown at the top of the screen here that use two regular elbows and two partially threaded elbows. So now we're going to take and make the short stubs, and I'll show you how with the next shot. So the next thing we're going to do is take a threaded adapter, a short piece of PVC pipe, and a PVC end cap, put them all together using the wooden balancers, whatever you want to call them, and that's what it looks like. Okay, so now we've got two short stabilizers, and just moving up a little bit, then we have two of these longer risers, and then finally we have the U-shaped blanket support. Remember, what we want to do is make this thing so that you can put it in your suitcase and disassemble it easily. So don't screw these parts together too tightly. And the first thing you do is you set your U blanket support on top of the workbench, just like I've shown it here. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to screw in the two risers. I'll show you the end product. Okay, now remember this thing is upside down from the way it'll ultimately be, but that's just so we can assemble it easily. Now here I've shown the two risers screwed into the U-shaped blanket support. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to screw these two shorter stabilizers into the risers. When I screwed in the two stabilizers, the horizontal pieces you see at the top, I left the whole device sitting on the workbench. Much easier to work with that way. Now remember, do not screw these things in too tight. You want to be able to get them apart and put them in your suitcase. Okay, so here's what the finished product looks like. You notice that the blanket support U is up at the top, and then coming down to the bottom, there are the stabilizers. Now the stabilizers are going to go between your mattress and the box spring at the foot of the bed. Just a couple of quick tips about cutting PVC. Remember, I've been saying this is 1/2 inch nominal PVC, and as you can see right here on the pipe, it says 1/2 inch PVC, Charlotte pipe. Also wanted to point out that sometimes I'll use one of these pretty coarse saws to cut it, and that makes kind of a mess for something like this. Other times I use a hacksaw. It's neater, but still makes a mess. Now I've learned that I prefer to use these snippers. And you just put a tick mark on here and squeeze it down. As you can see, it's coming down, and it's really not too hard, and it cuts it very neatly. Got to make sure the ratchet's on there. And ratchet down again one final time, and there it is. It is really smooth, as you can see. So here's what you need for this project. That was all of about 2.9 seconds, and I hope you caught it, but here's the list. Note that you can pause this video, then press Alt and print screen simultaneously. Open Microsoft Word, then paste the image into a new Word document, save it and print it later. You can do the same for this screen. Note carefully the length of the rise labeled F. You cut the PVC pipe to the thickness of your mattress plus 9 inches. The fittings will add a bit to the overall length as intended. The 9-inch addition is just right for my size 9.5 foot. If your shoe size is larger, add 1 or 2 inches.